Hey friends, it's Emily from burlapkitchen.com, and today we're going to make something cute for spring. We are going to make a little lamb. So the first thing I did was I just kind of traced it out, and I am not an artist. So honestly, if I can do this, I think anybody can do it. And you can see just the real simple shapes that I made. So once I got that on, I did go ahead and stain the board, but you maybe might want to wait and trace on your lamb after you stain. So I just went back over top of it with my pencil so I could see my lines again. So I'm just tracing that, and you can see how simple I made all these lines, just a bunch of curves. Next, I'm going to come in and I'm going to paint the lamb's head with some black paint. Now, if there's one thing I would change about this, I would move the head down just a little bit. So when you go to draw yours, just keep that in mind. So I'm just using black acrylic paint here to fill in the face. And once we get that painted and dried, I did sand it a little bit. And then I did the same thing down below with the white. So now I'm coming in with the vintage white paint, and we're going to go ahead and paint the bottom half of the lamb. And we are going to, once we get that painted and dried, we're going to sand that as well. Make sure it's dry and give it just a little sand. And we're just doing that. That way, if our spackling falls off, the same color will come through. So next I'm using some light white spackling, and I'm just going over the white parts. And I did mix my paint in with the spackling. So I just took some of the vintage white and mixed it in with the spackling so it was the same color. And I'm using one of these little tools that I got off of Amazon. If you're interested, let me know and I'll get you the information. Then I let this sit overnight. You see how I kind of tapped it just to give it that like fuzzy look, I guess you would say. And I let it dry overnight, and then I came in with some more spackling the next day, and I added black to that and mixed it up. And then we're going to do the same thing, except this time we're going to go on the lamb's face. So I'm just very carefully using this tool to get around the edges, and the ears were a little bit tricky, but very doable. Just be extra careful on the ears. And we're almost done with this one. And then once we get the spackling on, just let it air dry, or you can use your blow dryer to sort of speed up the process. One thing I noticed about lambs when I saw them is they were kind of dirty looking. So I took some of the stain, the antique wax, and stained it. And then I took some Spanish moss for the top of the lamb's head. And then I had this little star, and we're going to go paint that with some King's Gold. Let it dry, and then I did sand it and give it that rustic look with some antique wax. And then we're just going to glue it to the side. Next, I have this little bow I glued underneath his head. And then we have these tags. These are from our printable group. If you're interested, just let us know down below and we'll get you the information. And I'm just going to crumble it up a few times and go over it with some antique wax just to give it that rustic look. And then I did use my other wax, my black wax for that too. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of greenery to that, and the little tag, and then a button to the center. And for the eyes, I just drew two little slits. And then later, you'll see at the end of the project, I decided to draw a little nose and mouth too. So once I got that on, then I just drilled some holes, and I went ahead and added some more fabric to the top so it can hang. And I think this turned out so cute and it was fun to make. Let me know what you think of this one.